Hello and welcome. My name is Joy Poe. This is the management team and personnel plan for Worthwhile Studio. Worthwhile Studio is an art studio offering workshops and master classes, working artist spaces, and a curated gallery of local and regional artists. Hypothetically, this studio will be in the budding Lumber Arts District of Brevard, North Carolina. We begin with the organizational chart for the studio. Once the studio is fully operational, there will be about 36 full and part-time employees. The parameters for the equity structure are as follows: 5 million paid in capital, 10 million authorized shares, of which 5 million shares have been issued at the price of $1 per share. The founder and co-founder together will own 50% of the shares in the company. Investors will have 35%, and the founding directors will have 15% in shares. The next few slides will show my rationale for why I've divided the equity pie. I retained a slightly larger share in order to maintain a reasonable amount of control over the choices in the business. Investors of Worthwhile Studio will have a keen interest in seeing the Arts District of Brevard grow and thrive. Each investor will be on the board of directors. 5% will go to the 3 other members of the founding team, including the studio director, marketing director, and the finance director. They will be part of the board of directors. The personnel plan will include myself and the co-founder, but I'd like to go a little more in-depth and introduce the employees and their roles. Until the studio is fully up and running, I will be the creative director and oversee the marketing and the studio and gallery programming. And the co-founder will be directing operations, specifically the day-to-day gallery functions, the finances, and eventually the development. The studio director coordinates the workshop schedule, directs and assists visiting artists with course materials, and manages the studio. The administrative assistant supports the studio team in administrative tasks related to the visiting artists, interns, students, and workshop preparations. Visiting artists are responsible for workshop content and delivering artwork to the gallery for exhibition. Studio assistants support the visiting artist during workshops by attending to students and helping with the setup and breakdown. The finance director sets the company budget and manages the overall financial picture of Worthwhile Studio. The accountant prepares and examines financial information for tax purposes. The bookkeeper is responsible for accounts across all departments, and the contracts administration clerk is responsible for contracts with employees, artists, and workshop attendees. The development director manages and develops fundraising campaigns. The community manager is the friendly face of fundraising for the studio, participates in the fundraising events and social marketing campaigns. The development coordinator ensures fundraising campaigns run smoothly, and the administrative assistant aids and supports the development team in administrative tasks. The marketing director creates and directs marketing campaigns in order to encourage workshop and exhibition attendance and promote prestige among the visiting artists. The social media marketing manager promotes the studio through social media and upholds the brand authenticity. The graphic designer develops visual media to inspire and connect the studio to potential attendees, artists, and employees. The website designer creates and maintains a clean website that's user-friendly and inspiring, and the marketing assistant supports the marketing team in the administrative tasks. The gallery director curates art events, seeks out potential artists, and creates a dynamic and engaging gallery space for visitors. Then the retail gallery sales manager maintains inventory, aids the director in gallery dynamics, and educates and inspires the retail professionals. The administrative assistant supports the gallery staff with administrative tasks, and the retail professionals welcome guests, help them with purchases, and educate them about gallery artists and the workshops available. The personnel financials. Part-time employee numbers are based on a 20-hour work week. The full-time is 40. Highest paid salary is for the development director at $108,000. Monthly cost of the studio personnel will be $155,560, bringing the yearly cost to $1,868,160. At which point I stop and take a deep breath and remember that this is still a hypothetical business. So I'd like to introduce some of my hypothetical key players in Worthwhile Studio. First, we have Leslie Logeman. She is the market manager for Transylvania County Farmers Market and a gallery director for the Hain Gallery. She has management and experience in both for-profit and non-profit sectors. She's written grants. She facilitates the market to maintain their nonprofit status, and she was recently named the Main Street Champion for the state of North Carolina in honor of her work for the Transylvania Farmers Market. She'd be a great co-founder. Next, we have our studio director. I've chosen Kristen Necessary. She's a working printmaker from Starfangled Press in Brevard. She has a deep love of printmaking and drawing and experience in teaching and planning workshops. Our director of finance would be Kevin Jones. He is a financial advisor for Smith Barney. He's a self-proclaimed problem solver and New York know-it-all. He's helped several businesses in this area succeed, including Acusta Brewing. We're looking for a financial director, but at startup, a person like Kevin might be preferable because he would be more of an advisor, and he has both a finance and a marketing past. He'd be great on the board of directors. Our development director would be Joe Castro. He is a executive director of Smart Start, a teacher support and education program for elementary grades, and a mentor in SCORE. He agreed to be interviewed to help me understand the qualities needed when hiring a development director since I couldn't find one. He believes the director of a company's development should have a passion for the business they're raising funds for. They have to be outgoing, bold, and willing to ask for money. The community manager, I've chosen Jessica Carson. She is a freelance social media marketer at Twisted Sun Studios. She's got a nice art background, and she's been in the hospitality industry a long time. She's very good with the public. And this position gets combined with the social media marketing manager at startup. The development coordinator, I'm going to choose Sarah Kip Carson. She is an event planner and an entrepreneur with Wildflower Events. She works for Fluorescent Flowers as well. It's a high-end wedding event and planning florist, high-end wedding and event florist in Brevard. And Sarah is very organized and has great communication skills. I think she'd be fantastic in this position. A marketing director, I've chosen Joan Van Orman. She's a professional specializing in marketing communications and public relations. She is currently a freelance marketer for photographers and creative businesses. She might not work for the long run as far as this position, but she would be fantastic at startup as well. Next, we have our social media marketing manager. Again, Jessica would be filling both positions. Graphic designer, I would like to hold this position at startup and collaborate with Sale Park with Spark Media. And then as the position exceeds my skills, we'll hire a graphic designer. Next up, we have our website designer, who is Sale Park. He's the owner of Spark Media Collective. Website design, photography, and marketing for small business. He is a serial entrepreneur and has kind of a soft spot for working with people getting going. Next up, we have our gallery and exhibitions director. I didn't find someone for this position either, but I spoke with Edward Carroll of SCORE. He's the director of SCORE and a retired serial entrepreneur as well, focusing in retail. The gallery will serve as the bread and butter of Worthwhile Studio, so the exhibitions director really needs to be able to bring in the money. And then finally, we have the gallery sales manager. I've chosen Tom Ruppel. He is a recent graduate from Brevard College. He interviewed as a studio assistant, but I feel like he would be a fantastic fit for this position. He has a business and a fine art degree, and I was impressed with his maturity. So next up, let's move to our founding team. We're going to talk a little bit about hiring. And I'd like to, here you're looking at the founding team, the founder, the co-founder, studio director, and marketing director. For the first round of hiring, the studio director will hire visiting artists for teaching master classes and workshops. The financial advisor will hire a bookkeeper and a contracts administrator clerk. The marketing director will hire a social media marketing manager and a website designer. And the co-founder will hire a retail gallery manager and retail professionals. During the second round of hiring, the studio director will hire an administrative assistant and studio assistants. The finance director will hire an accountant who is still likely to be on retainer rather than in-house. The founding team will decide on the development director and a development coordinator. The marketing director will hire a graphic designer, and the co-founder will likely be ready to turn over the gallery and exhibitions position to a new director. And then finally, in the third round of hiring, the development team, the marketing team, and the gallery team will finish filling out their departments with administrators. So given the difficult nature of funding a nonprofit and the relative popularity and proximity of schools such as John C. Campbell Folk School and Penland School of Art, I feel that Worthwhile Studio would be better served in Brevard at the moment without those significant hurdles of becoming a nonprofit and facing the competition for funds from those larger schools like that. I have hopes to gain a fiscal sponsor to help fund the educational aspects of the studio, which is why I have a developmental department, even though I'm not pursuing nonprofit. And then my exit plan. So Worthwhile Studio is currently a hypothetical business. However, the people assigned to the positions are all people that I know and have contact with. I'd love to bring this into the world and watch it grow. And if Worthwhile Studio grows to this size, my involvement will necessarily decrease as more professionals come on board to advise and grow the business. If the studio does gain fiscal sponsorship, then the employees will have learned a little bit about the ropes about moving forward as a nonprofit. By then, we can find out if we can compete with the likes of Penland and John C. Campbell. And I will exit during the transition to a nonprofit status if that is a go. And if that is true, then I will maintain my place on the board, help vet and hire a new executive director, and hopefully participate freely as an artist and a teacher in the studio workings of Worthwhile Studio. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed that.